To just welcome everyone who has joined us. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Paula Herlock, and I am the convener of Wellness Experience Jamaica. For those unfamiliar with our platform, Wellness Experience Jamaica is a consortium of wellness practitioners and amateurs committed to promoting natural healing modalities for the general population after seeing some of the widespread fear associated with the pandemic. If you are not already following us, please follow us on Instagram at Wellness Experience Jamaica. We also have a YouTube channel also called Wellness Experience Jamaica. And what we've been doing is that we've been uploading our Zoom presentations as we bring them. So Wellness Experience Jamaica has as its simple mandate, shifting the narrative from illness to wellness by empowering Jamaicans to take responsibility for their health. We're seeking to do this by sharing information and by curating intimate wellness experiences and other educational events. We feel that this is needed now more than ever. We commit to utilizing social media to share traditional Jamaican remedies to the Jamaican population with a view to improving general health. This can be done by unlocking the power to heal self through knowledge of the benefits of traditional Jamaican herbs and food, and the benefits of immersion in nature and other natural healing modalities, such as meditation, exercise, and body work. We believe that there is a knowledge gap, and that is the reason why we're doing this. We're not seeing enough of this information being shared in mainstream. We're not seeing it on TV. We're not seeing it in the regular press, whether print or television or radio. And so it is our hope that this platform and the panel that we select weekly will assist in sharing vital information for our population. Now more than ever, Jamaicans need to be empowered around utilizing Jamaican traditional wisdom. We are grateful to our panelists today and the panelists who have gone before, who have so generously agreed to share their wisdom and knowledge of boosting the immune system. They too are committed to healing of the nation. So our panelist today is also very committed to healing our people. And I just met her a few weeks ago, but it was clear from the very first 10 minutes talking to her how knowledgeable she was on our healing herbs, the traditional Jamaican herbs, as well as other ancestral wisdom and healing modalities. She's none other than Chief Priestess of the Shekhem-t Ausar-t of the Amen Amakhu Spiritual Community. She's an author, psychotherapist, and educator in many areas, including veganism, nutrition, comparative religions, child rearing, ancestral history, and various other systems. Today, she'll be sharing something that I don't know about, and I'm very, very excited to learn about it. And it is the integrative approach to working with the central nervous system as it relates to the immune system. And if I got that wrong, I know she's going to be able to correct me. So without further ado, I am going to turn over to our guest, Sister Shekhem-t Ausar-t. Now let me just try to find her. There she is, and let me spotlight her. Okay. Sister, welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to be a presenter today. Thank you.
Okay, well, peace and blessings. Are you seeing me okay? Hello?
We're not seeing the
yes, we are.
Of your jaws.
Okay. Awesome, wonderful. If you're seeing me okay, that's good. All right, just wish to thank Sister Paula and the group of from Wellness Jamaica for inviting me to share whatever little it is that I know, because This knowledge is infinite. No one of us owns it. Our ancestors, those who have gone before us, I give thanks and praises to them for me being here today to be able to impart what little I know. I have been on this journey for many decades, and as she expressed, very committed to working with nature, the natural, very committed to wellness. I've raised my children and sought to work with many others who are committed to having the best possible health that they can have in this divine temple that has been given to us. And that's how I see it. This is the holy temple, and we need to treat it accordingly because, the Divine Mother and Father has given us all that is in nature, and there is no quote unquote disease or disorder that the body can go through that doesn't have a remedy, that doesn't have the necessary herbs on the planet to heal it. It exists, okay? So without going any further, I want to say that I want to acknowledge that we have a disclaimer, and this disclaimer basically says that, before you utilize anything that I am expressing, if you have health issues or underlying conditions, please make sure that you check in with your medical support team wherever you go, so that you will be in harmony with whatever it is that you need to have to keep you well. Okay? So my approach to wellness is to have an integrative focus, as she said. So, when you study things like astrology, you see that there are quote unquote 12 mansions in the house. Okay? And so we have all of these realities going on in our lives that places stressors on us, work, all kinds of things, children, family, that is demanding energy from us. My background is a little what she said is that I started out going to pre-med school and studying, all the anatomy and physiology and all of that. And I tried twice, but the ancestors who know better than I do actually said, no, this is not your path. So I got into the wellness and natural pathway, and have found that is where my greatest assets, or more my talent is, which is healing. I am committed to healing. So I studied things like the 5-element system, some Ayurveda, nutrition, and incorporates all different modalities, things like yoga and breathing and exercise programs and so forth, in order to create a well-being, okay, in order to help others to be always in a state of wellness. So today, from an integrative approach, what I'm going to talk about is in the working with this particular in working with this particular challenge that we have had with coronavirus with my patients. I have found that there is a point when every one of them starts to feel this weakness of body, where their bodies seem to be given way under them, where they are not able to eat, where they're not able to sleep, where they are tired and listless and without energy. Okay? So Neuro Immunology, it's there on the slide. I don't have to read it verbatim. I'm just going to encapsulate is an area of study that is very hard on the threshold right now, meaning the relationship between the nervous system and the immune system. We have 11 major organ systems in our body, right? And there's some ancillary systems, of course, that are attached to that. And so all systems, just like in nature, you know, you have bananas growing, but close to the bananas, you have, you know, corn, let's say. You can plant that. So it's called companion planting. You have friendly energies. You have food that support each other. It's right there in nature, okay? Yeah, they'll tell you sometimes, no, you can't plant peas next to okra because this will happen, or cabbage next to, you know, beets, because they'll conflict with each other. And it's the same in the body, right? So you have these companion organs that work together in order to amplify wellness. So the nervous system and the immune system, they have such a standing. They communicate with each other on a continuum. And when the body is going into distress, they work in tandem to put it back into homeostasis or balance, okay? So some of the elements that, or let me say disorders that we have that are keenly connected to the nervous system, where, you know, those particular individuals that have things like Parkinson's and MS, right? All of their disorders are really connected to challenges within the nervous system. So as it relates to viruses and pathogens, inflammation, and other systemic disorders, it is now being found that signals from the nervous system, right, is from the nervous system in terms of the organ of distress, right? The nervous system will send out a signal and say, hey, we need to move quickly in order to protect the system. And that is when the immune system will then click in. So when the COVID situation has been occurring, many people not knowing what to do, they basically, for some of them, they lay down. Some people were very distressed. And what they needed to do was to actually take the time to become knowledgeable about what they had to do. So when they were feeling pain, headache, and inflammation, what they needed to do was to reach for the appropriate herb, the appropriate vitamin, the appropriate massage of a particular energy meridian in order to help them to feel better, okay? So in addition, I'm not seeing those slides very well. In addition, one of the things that you want to do is to understand, can I have, okay, so there's an interface between the two systems, right? In the brain, you have the internal and you have an external part to your brain. In the dura mater, or called the tough part of the brain, right? There resides, can you go to the slide? Great. If you can see that well, right? You see the central nervous system, which from the perspective of the development of the fetus in the body, the central nervous system, and here's what it's called, central, mean that it is central to the entire body. It is the first thing that is created. And so the central nervous system and the brain are the first two organs that are created when the fetus is being made. So it means that a lot of times when we are suffering from various quote unquote illnesses or disease, we need to go back to that foundational organ, then make sure that that is in order. And that is the central nervous system. Okay? So if you look at it and you can, let us say, make this larger, which I'm doing right now, right, on your screen, you will see lymphatic vessels, right, in the brain itself, and then you will see, right, the cervical lymph nodes, which are right in, if you take both your hands and you put it on either side of your spinal column, the lymph nodes are in there, right? Those lymph nodes are part of that immune system, okay? So the dura mater, and which is where the immune system, the cells of that is, and the nervous system, right? They're connected, so they interface. And so when you are feeling the stuffy nose, the runniness, the pain in your in the lymph nodes in the back of the head, then that's a communication moment where the immune system clicks in. All right? A lot of the, what do you call it? The brain fag, the feeling wasted. That is when the central nervous system is actually under distress. All right? When that is happening, of course, toxins, the virus is in rampage, and the pathogens that are going through that part of your body is what creates inflammation, meaning that the cells of that part of your body are inflamed. They're experiencing fever and other things as well. Okay? As I said before, a lot of people complained about, feeling pain. One of my clients said that she was feeling a lot of pain down in her back. This young woman actually had issues with asthma for most of her life. And so when that was happening and she was not eating, I said to her, we need to focus on making your central nervous system stronger. She was taking all of the immune system, herbs, right? The guinea hen, the, what do you call it? The turmeric, the ginger, garlic, all of that was happening, but it wasn't enough. So as you go down, right, this diminished capacity to eat, right? Her not being able to eat led to what we would call, a weakness, body weakness. In Jamaica, sometimes we say body come down, okay? And so that gave me the cue that we needed to replenish the body. So as you go down, right, we will, the first thing we will do is look at the immune system. So let me just paraphrase by saying, once we get to the central nervous system, what happened was usually within 3 to 5 days, anyone that I worked with, and I had a 100% recovery rate, no one went to the hospital. No one ended up with pneumonia. I had a 100% recovery rate because I was able to utilize this approach of integrating the two systems. So when this young woman who had chronic asthma issues, it's in her family for all of her life, began to take what I told her to do, what I suggested that she do for her central nervous system, her Kabala situation only lasted 4 days. In 4 days, she was out. Some of the people.
Your mute button is on. You're not hearing.
Type it in the chat because it doesn't seem as if she's hearing you either. Okay.
Okay. Here, thank you.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I was saying is this young woman was in her late 20s when with chronic asthma issues, actually from birth, almost very young as a child. When she started feeling this weakness and these body issues, she was taking the vitamin therapy, she was taking all of the herbs for immune system. I said to her, I want you to put some energy into nurturing and taking care of your nervous system. Once she did that in tandem with the immune system, she was over COVID within 4 to 5 days. I've had other patients who were having similar issues and they were out of it within 3 days. One person was 7 days into it, and once I started working and doing treatment, they were over it in 3 days. Okay? So if you look on your chart, you will see it's the immune system. So on a daily basis, now that we are having, the variants and all of these things happening, I say to you, do a prevention kind of focus. You don't have it, the people around you are not having the virus infection. There's nobody sick in your environment. So if you look on the, it says prevention. And it says on Wednesday and Friday, meaning 2 days in the week, right? Because, and I'm saying Wednesday and Friday because in the integrated system, what you need to do is to be able to have some of whatever it is that you need to have, give the body a break, and then do it again. 2 days of doing this is a good way for you to keep the body in balance, right? So I have guinea hen, red root, bitterwood, and bissy. Okay, the guinea hen, great for immune system. They use it in cancer treatment in order to achieve high recovery from cancer patients. Red root is something that actually cleanses the body and purges, gets rid of toxins in the body, right? If you have bloating, right, circulatory issues, red root is good for that. And then there's bitterwood. Bitterwood is also known as Quasia Bark. If anybody's here on the call from overseas, if you go to Amazon or any herbal store, you can ask for Quasia Bark. Great, again, for cleansing the lymphatic system. And it also has a slightly laxative effect, which means that you have to clean out the bowels and the colon so that when the body is in its circulatory motion and, taking nutrients throughout the body, you are not, picking up stuff that's in the colon and recirculating in the blood. So it keeps the lower colon, it keeps, the lower intestines that sometimes, is not eliminating properly. It will keep it gently eliminating. And then you have bissy. And bissy is an amazing herb. Okay, it's also known as kola nut in the motherland. Bissy, for us, a lot of people boil it and they say bissy's good, it gets rid of, toxins in the system, it makes them feel very good, energized. But one of the things, bissy is known as what is called a vasodilator. And what it does, it makes the veins in the body strong. But what it also does is it carries a lot of nutrients to your brain, okay? And in doing that, of course, it's going through the central nervous system. But what it does, it brings the nutrients to your brain. And what it's great for, and this is a side effect, even though it's combined with these herbs, is that it will actually help with things like, you know, brain deficits, right? Loss of memory. Our ancestors used kola nut in the motherland. You will find, you know, things like dementia and Alzheimer's is not really what it is that is commonplace. Their elders' brains don't get quote unquote old and they don't remember anything. Okay. So for those who have short-term memory and so forth, this is a great herb to take. I do extractions of a lot of these, and in its extracted form, it loses no property. But combined, back to this, combined with these herbs, you now have a synergistic combination that's cleansing, buffering, removing toxins, energizing the brain. And of course, I said before that the immune system interfaces in the brain with the central nervous system. So you're having this synergistic effect, and the body is being strengthened at the same time. Okay, so if you do that, you know, on a continuum twice a week, you're good to go. All right, and it tells you how to make it, right? It's written right there. You boil it for 9 to 10 minutes, and then you know, in 2 cups of water, then you remove it from the flame. Do not leave it on the burner. Take it off the burner, set it on the side, and then let it steep, you know, for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you can drink it. It's good to go. I will also say to you that when you are making herbs, okay, there's a tendency a lot of times for many herbalists have the practice of saying you only use the root. You only use this part. I will say to you that what I have found is that, you know, they say God never throw away anybody. God don't throw away anything. And everything that we have in nature serves a purpose. So I use the entire herb. And what you should do, 2 things. If you can, just, I don't want to say beat, but just, you know, tap on the herb, the leaves, the root, and you want to break the membranes of that. Why? Because when you place it in the water and it starts to boil, you want the elements or the nutrient from the herb to go into the water easily, okay? Don't put your herbs into boiling water. Don't put it in boiling water. Put the herb in cold or room temperature water. Why? If somebody took you, right, and dumped you in hot water, what would happen? How would you feel? Anybody want to give me an answer? Hello?
I
How
would
would
feel
you?
terrified. I would scream. I mean, the shock of the heat, I'd scream. I want to jump out of my skin.
Okay. Well, the same thing happens in plant life. Okay. We look at plants as something that is just there. We can do whatever we want with it. But if you study ancient cultures, our ancestral Native American culture, they are the people who have been bequeathed to the earth to actually impart to us a lot of the knowledge about nature. Okay, it is in every indigenous culture. You know, you hear people say, "I talk to the tree." In Western culture, they would say you're crazy, and because you know that's a business I've worked in, and they would send you pretty much to an asylum or a treatment center, and you get psychotropic medication. Okay, because it means that you have lost your mind, and many of us believe that. But what I'm saying to you is that you need to know how to handle the herbs. So you pound it slightly, open the membranes, right? The guinea hen is tough, so if you have a hammer or some people have little hammers that they use in their cooking, right? To break different kinds of, things that they're gonna eat, meat or, whatever. You can do the same thing and then put it in cold water in the pot so that gradually, as the warm up, as the boiling and so forth happens, the herb is adjusting and releasing at the same time all of the nutrients that it needs to release. And you put it on the side, let it steep, and now you have the fullness of that herb, okay? And then I have underneath that the viral infection. When you're in infection, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? You take 1.5 teaspoons of each herb to 4.5 cups of water, boil it down to 3 cups, and follow the rest of the instruction above, right? So you drink 3 cups in the morning and 3 cups between 5 and 6.
Maxine, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Can you comment on the type of utensils to use or not to use when boiling herbs?
Okay. Stainless steel or glass. Do not use aluminum, ever. As a matter of fact, I suggest that if you have aluminum in your home, it is in your best interest. I know it might be expensive, but it's not in the best interest of your health because aluminum contains just that. And it has a very strong propensity to go to the brain. If you boil the herbs in aluminum vessels, the herb will take on that particular element and you will be ingesting it. It is not easy. The body has to put out a lot of energy to eliminate it. So if you have those in your home, I suggest that you do your best to get rid of that. All aluminum plates, cups, forks, spoons, knives. That is my suggestion. So to just reiterate and answer the question again, stainless steel or glass is best for you to do with your herbs, okay? They also have these pots that are, what do you call them? They're coated, with, you know what I'm talking about, those
Ceramic
coated.
coated.
They're what?
Is it the ceramic coated pots?
No, not the ceramic. There's another element.
Teflon. Teflon.
There you go. That's it. Teflon. Teflon on top, aluminum under the bottom. That's what it is. Teflon pots are nothing but pots. Most of them are they cover aluminum. So if you heat up a Teflon pot, then the heat heats up the aluminum, which also permeates and comes through the Teflon to cook the food. So again, you are absorbing and putting aluminum in your system. So I say to you, let that go. If you can, it would be in the best interest of your long-term health. So you see, if you're in a viral state, that's what you do. And then I say to you, right, you also should take 4 tablespoons each of turmeric ginger, along with 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, right? I'm sorry. 4 tablespoons each of turmeric and ginger, along with 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper. A tablespoon too much for you, then do half, right? Garlic, onion, and a tablespoon of honey. Blend that together. It's all raw. Squeeze it out in a cheesecloth. If you don't have one of those, you can just put it in your strainer, strain it, and drink it. It will boost your immune system incredibly. Between those 2 things, you should be able to move out of that, along with the vitamin regimen, which is at the bottom of the page, right, of the slides, and be on your way to that. If you want to get into... Hello?
Sorry.
Somebody have a
Hi.
question?
Yes, I have a question before you move on. in preparing the herbs, is it best to use them dried or fresh?
Okay, you can use them fresh. It's not a problem. Usually you have to use a little bit more. When herbs are fresh, they carry a lot of water. And so you have to use a little bit more to give you the strength of what you want. When they're dried, right, and you should dry them in the shade. If you have a shed, great, tie them up in the top of the shed, not direct sunlight, okay? Those herbs are what we call, they're now potent, right? What you're actually getting are all of the salts, the minerals, okay, the vitamins that are available, bioavailable, right? And you can, you can avail yourself of the nutrients in those herbs. So dry is really good. I would say of the two, as much the drier, not the drier the herb, but relatively freshly dried herbs is excellent for you to utilize. Okay. Yes, thank you very much for the slide there on the daily ingredients that you should take. Great. Awesome. All right. So let's move on now to the immune system. I'm sorry, to the nervous system. Okay. Okay.
Hi,
When the
excuse me,
body, yes,
before you go on, one quick question.
please
How
do.
how do you dry the herb? Say you have it at your home and you want to dry it yourself. What's like the best method? You did say no direct sunlight and put them in the shade. I heard that clearly. But like, do I wrap it in paper or newspaper or cloth?
Let me tell you how I generally dry a lot of my herbs. I'll take the herb stem, I don't separate them, leaf, stem, whatever. And I may get a little piece of string and I bundle them together. And then if you, like, let us say if your kitchen is outside or your kitchen is, has a window that it opens, to your backyard or something, or if you live where you have, a sunroom or something like that, you can take the herb, tie it, and then just hang it up in the ceiling, maybe, if there's a ceiling. If you can, it's not directly in the sun, but the rays of the sun, the heat of the sun will get to the herb. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, and then what happens is it will slowly dry. Okay. You don't want it to be burned to a crisp. So this is this in-between state between it being fully green and kind of brownish. And then you can take it, and then bag it and put it in, if you have a closet or somewhere, so there's not a lot of light that's degenerating, or, however you can do that safely. All right?
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So the nervous system, right? The prevention aspect of it. Again, I have 2 days, right? You can take 1 to 2 small carrots, half a stalk of celery, 2 tablespoons of parsley. These are fresh herbs that you can utilize. Okay, if they're dried, okay. But what I want to explain about these herbs in the process, in the system of what I do in terms of food. Every food, as we know, is not the same. When you eat them, there's a different taste to them. Foods that are strongly calibrated to the nervous system allows you to ingest them and to replenish that particular system. There are foods that are calibrated in terms of their nutrients and their energy to the circulatory system, which the heart, right? And all of, your whole cardiovascular system, there are foods that will heal and empower that system. So the foods that will support the nervous system when you are having this corona experience, these are some of the ones that I am putting here. In addition, we have Irish moss, right? So if you get a little Irish moss, you put it in with this mix, and an Irish potato, believe it or not. Okay, I know there are a lot of things about you shouldn't eat this and you shouldn't eat that. Okay, Irish potato, it grows under the earth. Foods that grow under the earth have a lot of minerals. And so when the body is feeling wasted, whether in corona or not, it means that the nervous system is being depleted. And you need to have natural salts, right, to be put back into the system to replenish it so that you're feeling energized, so that the nervous system, which actually is connected to all of the 11 major systems in your body, can become re-energized. And so while the body is going through its corona experience, the nervous system is on point. It is on command. It is hypervigilant. It is keeping the rest of your body, your immune system, and in conjunction with the immune system, keeping the rest of the body healthy, alive, and flourishing. And that is what has allowed for people to actually get over the virus experience very quickly. Okay? So if you look at that first one, when I say prevention on a weekly basis, you know, it also says in here, add half a teaspoon of sea salt or Himalayan salt. There's something that's called black sea salt, right? That comes from the Black Sea. That's a great salt to also use. Very, 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 very strong in all of the nutrients, all of the natural salts that are in the body. As we know, sea salt and blood, you know, they're very synchronized in terms of their chemical elements, right? To your food, you're actually buffering, you're actually strengthening, and you're actually lifting your nervous system and the rest of your organ systems. Okay, so again, I'm paraphrasing. We can all read here. I don't have to read every little thing for you. So when you're in the viral state now, when you're actually going through the experience, what you want to do is you want to increase, right, your intake to Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You boil the 2 small carrots, right? You follow all of the things that I have. You can add a little bit more Irish moss. No, not more salt, a little bit more Irish moss, okay? And of course, one of the things here is that you can blend all of the herbs, all of these foods before you put it in the pot, because sometimes what's happening, the throat is sore, the lymph nodes are sore, your swallowing may be off. So you want to blend them. I'm going to make sure if I didn't put that in there, I'm just adding that to you. You blend it and you're going to, of course, steep it for 15 minutes, right? And you want to blend them and you just want to take your time and sip it, right? Don't drink it in one gulp. If you're having issues with the whole throat area because, you know, the virus is just gone so far, you want to be able to just take your time and sip. And then it is very important that you sleep. You need to sleep because sleep and rest revitalizes the nervous system. You, in that state, a lot of times with the lethargy, the body wants to rest. So that is a natural flow, okay? So you want to go to bed, don't go to bed too late because your body needs to move with the rhythm of the cycle, of its natural cycle, right? Which is called the circadian rhythm. That's a whole nother conversation. But you don't go to bed at midnight. You want to go to bed by the latest by 10 p.m. at the latest. And you want to sleep that good, 8 hours a day, 9 hours during the night into the morning. you're going to find that your vitality will greatly improve. Okay? Any questions at this point?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much for the information. I'd like to find out, if you don't have celery or parsley, what could be substituted?
Okay. Believe it or not, okay, you can use some oats, O-A-T-S, right?
To substitute for which one, the celery or the parsley?
No. You can use oats, the food, O-A-T-S, right? And what you can do, you can use, okay, so you have, there's celery powder, okay? It's available. The celery seeds have been taken and pounded into a powder. And you can get it in the store. I think I found it in General Foods, or it might have been one of the other, more complete supermarkets. Okay, Hilo should have it. All of those. Okay.
Yes,
The
it's
celery
available.
salts. I'm sorry.
I
Okay.
was concurring with you that it's available, the powder, the celery powder.
Yes, right. Okay, and parsley flakes are available, dried parsley flakes as well. If you can't find the fresh, you can use the dried. Okay. I haven't seen I never seen celery stalks dried or in a freezer or anything. So that's what you can do. All right. But carrots are widely available, I think, most of the year. So you can get the dried, right, celery powder, and you can do the dried celery. But let us say, for example, you can't get any of those, right? Then what you want to do is you want to get some oats, and you want to cook the oats. The best oats that I have found that is generally available in Jamaica is an oats that comes from a company called Morn Flake, MORNFLAKE. It is non-GMO. Okay, if you can't get organic oats, it is non-GMO. And all you have to do is use maybe like 4 tablespoons and you make a broth. You can actually add the sea salt to it because the salt will draw the nutrients out of the herb and make it bioavailable to you. Okay? Is that clear? Okay.
Crystal clear. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay.
I have another quick question. For the carrots and the Irish potato, should we peel them or blend them with the skin?
Wash them thoroughly. Okay. There's supposedly vegetable soap, but if you can get a vegetable brush and wash them thoroughly, it really is never a good idea to peel our vegetables and throw the skin away. Even pumpkin skin shouldn't be thrown away. The reason is that right under the skin of every food that we have, that is where the beauty of the nutrients lie. Okay, so when you cut off the Irish moss, I'm sorry, not Irish moss, the Irish potato skin and throw it away, you are really looking mostly at starch, at the carbo, right? The carbohydrates. Now, of course, you need the carbohydrates because it's going to give you energy. And if you are a person who, and just in general, if you have to work hard in the fields or you're constantly on the go, then carbos are important in order for you to burn, and to have energy to accomplish what you need to. So yes, Thank you for that question. Excellent question.
Okay. He stayed with you, right?
Sorry?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Is there another question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please do.
So you said don't peel the skin, right? Say
Right.
sweet potato, for instance, because I heard you spoke about Irish potato earlier, but I was always told that Irish potato is just water, and so I shouldn't eat it. That's honestly that's what I was told. But you're
No,
saying
no.
it's water, so okay.
So what I'm saying is, when you don't wash it, when
Yeah.
you put it, let us say when you put Irish potato, the skin is very thin, right?
Yeah,
Sweet
right.
potato, the skin is much thicker.
Right.
So a lot of times I will steam my sweet potato, or I will bake my sweet potato, and then I will have it come out of the skin. Why? You can eat it without the skin if you choose to, then, because the nutrients that are right in that skin is now infused into the meat of the potato.
Okay.
You see what I'm
Noted.
saying?
Yes,
So
thank you.
if you discard the skin after it's cooked, then it's okay, because it's been infused now with the meat of the
Right.
particular vegetable. All right? Okay. All right. So I
Thank you.
have here, you're most welcome. Thank you for asking the question. When you ask questions and when you're not clear and I answer them, it helps everyone who is in the chat to better understand what they must do. So I thank you for asking the question to be supportive and helpful to everyone else. So never think that your question is, and we always say there's no such thing as a stupid question. Every question has merit. So thank you. Okay. So if you see the next thing we have on here is a daily vitamin regimen, right? Quercetin, vitamin C, D3, so and so. One of the comments I want to make, two things. When you're feeling the headache and the pain in the body and all of that going on, it's good to take an aspirin. I am not an advocate of taking allopathic medicine. I'm not. But in the case of what you're dealing with, the taking of an aspirin at 100 milligrams can actually be very helpful in the condition that we're talking about with the virus and so forth. And if you have underlying issues, it's very important that your circulation, right? And that your blood is flowing effortlessly. You don't need to compile multiple issues with that. And actually, the young woman who had the problem with her lungs, she actually went straight to that. She said her back, right? Because the lungs are in the back, right, of the body. They were paining her. So after she took the aspirin, the next day, she was fine. Okay, I'm hearing an echo. Okay, so, and the other thing is, in that regimen, the melatonin is very helpful because it will allow your sleep to be very deep, which is part of the replenishment of the nervous system. Okay, melatonin is great for that. I would say to you also, if, let us say, for instance, because of finances or even because of access, you have no health food store where you are not able to get to the health food store. Your pharmacy where you live does not have D3. Then I say to you, sit for 15 to 20 minutes in the sun. There are 2 times in the day that I've found sun to be extremely helpful. Is somewhere between 11 and 12, and the other time would be between 3 and 4 p.m. That sun is very good when you are convalescing and trying to get your energy in balance. Okay? So, in conclusion, I say that the human body, which is, I compare, it's a holy temple. which is comprised of our 11 organ system, is a continuous work in progress. You may have what we call constitutional issues, underlying issues, okay? Things you've inherited from your family. In my family, we have everything: cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, short-term memory focus issues, heart problem. We have everything. As a result of making the decision to keep my system healthy and balanced, I have none of those issues. None of them. Okay? I will tell everybody, I'm a total vegan. You don't have to be a total vegan, of course, it's your choice. I always suggest that as a way to eat because I have found it has afforded me the most optimum health that I can embrace while I am still walking in this physical body. Okay? Plant-based diet, a plant-based regimen is an excellent thing to follow. So again, that is what I have to offer. I will say to you, every one of my clients, every one of them, they were out of the coronavirus experience within 3 to 5 days. For the ones who came to me when they were already 7 days in it, and one of them had circulatory issues, they had edema, right? A lot of body fluids and so forth going on, poor appetite. They were not sleeping well. They actually went all the way to the point where they were just on the brink of pneumonia. Even that person, within 4 days, they were out of the coronavirus experience by using, as I said, in tandem with all of the nervous system issues, with all of the immune system challenges, to also add the immune system and those nutrients that I'm talking about. Today, they are still doing this because once you've gone through this coronavirus experience for 14 days, it means that for some people, you're going to have some lingering issues. But after about 2 to 3 weeks of, again, continuing to nurture these two systems, you should be well on your way with no backlag or any, underlying, coughing or whatever going on. And of course, use the steam, the essential oils and so forth to help to replenish the body, okay? In closing, I will say to you, here are some herbs, here are some things that you can take to keep the nervous system strong. I'm going to call them out, but I will send them to Sister Paula and she can post them so that you can go and do further research and that you can keep your nervous system strong in tandem with the other organ systems so that you can have a vital life. So here are some of them. Of course, we know vervine, or it's also called verbena. That is one of the herbs that you can also use to keep the nervous system very strong during this COVID experience. I know a lot of people say vervine is the answer. It is a part of the answer. It is not the only answer, okay? I mentioned oats. If you have children that have focus issues, ADD, ADHD, eating oats every day is very good for them. Not too much sugar because that makes them even more hyper, okay? Bisi, the kola nut, you can take that. Avena sativa is another name that is used for oats, if you see that. And in its extracted form, they are excellent for nourishing the nervous system. Lecithin, okay, which is gotten from soybeans. There are some companies, a lot of them that make it 1200 milligrams is excellent. It will rejuvenate and replenish your tired nervous system. If you work hard, when you go to bed at night, about half an hour before bed, you can take that. Another herb is called fenugreek, alfalfa, gotu kola. Ginseng is also very good. Ginkgo biloba, excellent. And then in terms of homeopathic remedies that you can support, there are a group of homeopathic salts, right? And they're actually, we call them tissue, another name for homeopathic. Some of them, we use the word tissue salts because they strengthen the tissues of the body. So all of the phosphates, ferrum phos, magnesium phosphate, calcium phosphates, these phosphates will work on the subtle tissues within the nervous system and will actually make it very, very strong. Okay, so I'll send these as well, things that, you know, empower and replenish the nervous system so that if you choose to, you can take them. Okay, again, consult your physician or healthcare practitioner if you have major underlying issues. Any other questions?
Yes, the homeopathic tissue salt, did you say iron phosphate, mag phosphate? What was the third one?
I said calcium phosphate.
Calcium phosphate. Okay.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
During this presentation, as well as over the course of the other presentations, we've gotten a list of a lot of herbs. For example, you've listed out quite a few herbs, and I've bought some of them, but I'm looking at them as these are a lot of herbs. How do I take them? And I've seen mixes, but I don't know what I can mix together to make teas. Any advice on how to mix together herbs, what to mix together, what not to mix together?
Yeah, oh boy, you talking about that is a very in-depth subject. Let me say this. I'm a certified herbalist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I studied a lot of allopathic medicine. I even had the good fortune at one point, my family, we come from a family of nurses. So I actually went to nursing school. And one of the big things that I studied was something called pharmacology, right? When you study pharmacology, you study the classification of various medicines, okay? You study the classification also to some degree of herbs. In my study of becoming a certified herbalist, you have to study the pharmacology of herbs. Some are antibacterial. Some are antispasmodic. Some are antifungal. So you have to know how they're classified in order to be able to combine them so that it's not clashing the chemical components within your system, okay? So I cannot give you that answer just like that. It is an area that requires study. So the herbs that I have put together and put on this system, I put them together in this fashion, in this holistic, integrative fashion, so that when you take it into your body, you're not experiencing, let me just say, any kind of negative adverse effect. And that is why I am saying to you, all of my patients had 100% recovery rate with no after effects or any kind of adverse responses. So I can't really tell you, you know, what not to put. I can only suggest to you really the ones, because I can't speak for what others have done.
Okay, maybe let me narrow down exactly what I'm asking. I was asking specifically about those herbs that you'd have mentioned in this case that are good for the central nervous system. For example, the ones you just listed, such as blue vervain, busy, fenugreek, alfalfa, those herbs, because I'm looking at it, do I make 6 cups of different teas for the day, or should I assume that everything that you've told me here, I can mix together? That's what I'm really asking.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's a different question. Okay. Okay, yes, you can mix vervine, busy, right? What else do I have on here? No. Okay. You do not mix, at this point, I would say, do not mix guinea hen, vervine, and all of those things together. As I have here, in the amount, in the quantity, with the amount that you should take, 3 cups a day for, if you're in you know, in a heavy viral mode of vervine is good, right? 2 cups a day of 3 cups a day of the busy with the guinea hen and the bitterwood is enough. You have to take vitamins in between that, okay? So exactly the way that I have it, if you follow that, then you're not gonna run into any trouble. I would say that I separate them, but don't mix them together, because they're working on different systems in your body. You see what I'm saying? It's the system's impact that you're looking for. So don't mix them together and just take 3 cups of just what you mix together. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. So what I'm getting from what you said is that follow, on the previous slides, follow the instructions that you would have given and what to mix together on those slides. The other herbs that you told us to the end, listing out individually, are just suggestions of other herbs, but don't mix those together.
Right. So let us just say, for instance, yes. Okay, let me give you an example. You can. These are all calibrated to the nervous system, so you can mix them together, because that's the system, the receptors in your nervous system will absorb them. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you have these herbs or this extracts are great because you get all of the components that you need. Fenugreek, right? Kola nut and ginkgo biloba. You can mix those together, right? 25 to 30 drops of those in about 6 ounces of water will get you flying, right? As an example. Lecithin comes from food. Oats comes from food. You take that separately, okay? You can mix the vervine with fenugreek and alfalfa, okay? Same thing. 20, 25, 30 drops. 30 drops is the upper end. So if you're really worn out taking 30 drops, you can take them singularly by themselves, okay? Does that answer your question even better? Hello?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Yes, it does. It does perfectly answer my question now. The only thing, I got the other mix, but you said go to Cola, Busy, and?
Go to Cola, Ginkgo biloba, and Busy, which is cola nut. You can mix those together.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Most welcome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering, recently I made a mixture of, it was turmeric, ginger, garlic, I think, is it blackberry? What's it called? It's a very dark purplish color, but essentially after steeping it and everything, I was just there like, okay, cool. How do I store this? Truly. And I was like, okay, cool, put it in the fridge, keep it outside. Is it well, I think it's best to have it in a glass bottle than a plastic bottle, truly. So I'm just kind of wondering, how do you store it afterwards?
You can, okay, once it is cooled, you pour it in a bottle. You can store it in the refrigerator, but of course, you cannot store it for days and days and then go back to drink, because it means that some of the nutrients, the components of the herbs, right, will be diminished. So I would say to you that the herbs should not, after 3 days maximum, and that's pushing it. All right. So if you drink it today, you don't drink it tomorrow, then the other day, that's 2 days. You're just getting what you need out of that herb. Make a new batch, make a fresh batch. Okay. So don't, don't, you say, okay, I'm going to make, 4 cups or, 2 quarts. Don't do that. Herbs are best taken in small batches, right?
Mhm.
You're better off making an amount, holding the herb itself, right? You can boil herbs more than once, okay?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so if you boil it today, you can drink it. Once it's cool, put it in a bag, put it in the refrigerator, and you can boil it, 1 or 2 days later and drink that. And of course, you won't get the same potency that you got the second time that you got the first time, but it'd still be pretty strong.
Right.
2 times, 1, 2, don't boil a herb more than 3 times. And some of them, no more than twice. Okay? Because then the nutrient, the benefit is gone. It's over. Okay?
Okay. One last question. Thank you for that. One last question. Do you know about noni? I've always heard that. I know that the leaves and the fruit are good for you, but I know people always just put the fruit in a bag and have it sit there for a very long time. And then they use the juice from that to, they drink that essentially. But I'm asking if how quote unquote is the leaf of the noni. Is it, I know you mentioned a lot of different herbs and stuff and you were very specific, thank you for that, but I'm just wondering if noni is a good herb to intake, on a regular or
okay, so what them say noni is good for?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure.
Okay, I am going to tell you to research it, but what it is that noni is excellent for the immune system.
Okay.
Okay. And it has certain anti-aging properties in it as well.
I see. So I look into noni somewhere, definitely.
Yes, look at that. The leaves are excellent as a tea. You can, drink that. Of course, it has some of the immune system components in it. But the fruit, yes. You may even want to go, depending on where it grows on the planet, some of it may be more concentrated in terms of certain nutrients than others. But our DNA, all right, our body, our organ systems are built on herbs and food and nutrients here in Jamaica. This is where we were conceived. And as such, the foods that are here is what will keep us strong and healthy at all times. Okay? Far, far better than if we went to the north. Okay? A lot of us went away to foreign, whatever, live there. And when we get older or whatever, or even when we're not, we come home in order for us to get what we need to replenish our systems. So what I'm saying is that as much as you can eat, and nurture your body on what is grown here, the stronger, the healthier, and the longer you will live.
All right. Thank you.
Right. You're most welcome. I thank you all for your time and your energy, and great
Yes.
health to
Yes.
all of you.
Yes.
Long may you live.
Thank you so much, Sister Shekhem. We really, really appreciate the presentation that you just gave. Let me just start my video back. Why it's so important is that many people are worried about getting sick or know people who have gotten sick. And you have perfectly packaged this system for us to be able to follow and to understand that it's not just the immune system that we should be focused on or working with. We should also, pay a little attention to the central nervous system because the system work so closely together. So thank you so much for that. Just for everyone's benefit, because we're wrapping up now, we've also been doing some work with Sister Shekhem-t. She's been doing some breath work with us and some chanting with us, which, as many of you know, or some of you might not know, also aids in nourishing the central nervous system, relaxing the vagus nerve, and so on. Am I right, sister?
That is correct.
So we strongly recommend that you do your deep breathing in the morning, and pay attention to your breath, and also, look at things, get your body work done, get your massages done to relax the body and so on. But we also, we are going to be, I'm talking to Sister Shekhem-t about doing some, follow-up sessions where you can learn about deep breathing, learn about chanting, and so on. So keep your eyes on our pages for that reason, so you can do some follow-up. So yes.
I want to add one last thing. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
I should say to you all also, back to the whole thing of the role that breath and, being able to do the deep breathing. If you can do 15 minutes of, they say meditation or breathing, deep breathing on a daily basis as a prevention mechanism, you are going to enhance your immune system to a place of what I call supra immunity. You just won't be immunological strong. You will have supra immunity. Why? Because it's going to turn on that vagus nerve, which is right down here in your diaphragm, which is connected to the central nervous system. So basically what I'm saying is you're bringing in all of this vital energy from the sun, right, to nurture the nervous system on a continuum. Even when you're running around doing all of whatever you have to do, that nervous system is now getting fed by energy from the air, from the sun, just by taking 15 minutes out a day. Okay, so that's an additional way in which you can make your nervous system strong. Okay, just wanted to add that.
So is there like a quick breathing recommendation that you could give us now, because we're gonna wrap up? Is there like a breathe?
No, what I'm gonna do, I'll do better. I will send you a video that I have on YouTube.
Yes. Oh, can you?
Actually, yes, which you can actually look at, and it will help you to understand the mechanisms of meditation and breathing much better, and how, to really do that. So you can have that to look at over and over again. Okay.
So is your YouTube on under any special name, Sister Shekhem-t?
Okay, I will send it to you. There's a series that I did it's called Living a Centered Life.
Living a Centered Life. So let me put that. I'm typing it into the chat, everyone. Living a Centered Life on YouTube.
Right. And I if I'm not mistaken, it might be, it's in one of the top 4, number 2, 3, or 4, something like that. But they would clearly state meditation.
Okay, okay, no problem. All right, there's one last question and then we end. So we have one last question from the fitness club. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. The question that I wanted to ask, I'm a mom of 3, and you know, children can get COVID as well. These herbs and remedies that you're suggesting, can I cut the dosage in half and give it to them as well?
What are the ages of the children?
11, 7, and 5.
Oh, young'uns. Okay. For the 11-year-olds, 11 and a half or just 11?
And a half.
Okay, so they're almost 12, right?
Right.
Okay, so I would say half the adult dose, right? Okay, and for the younger ones, give them half of what you give the 11-year-old.
Okay, got it.
Okay, but I will also say to you, if you can get, when you go to the vitamin section, you know, there are all of these vitamin C in high potencies, right? If you cannot find the vitamin C, right, there's a chewable one. The company that makes it is called Acerola, Acerola. So a chewable vitamin C, okay, and vitamin C is water soluble. It does not store in the body, right? So you need to give that the children, I mean, the adults can take it as well, but we can, you know, get higher potency C. So during the course of the day, you want to give that child somewhere up to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. The older one can take 2,000. The younger ones, you need to give them 1,000. I would suggest that you get a tube of vitamin C that is 500 milligrams. And then in that way, you can break it up during the course of the day to give it to the children. Even if you gave them 1,500 up to the adult, it's okay. It's not going to have any adverse effect on them. But what it will do is as an antioxidant, it will protect their immune system, and it will allow for the cells itself to burn up and destroy the virus and then cleanse it, wash it out of the system. Are you understanding that clearly?
Yes, I am.
All right.
All right, so this brings us to the end of an amazing presentation. Thank you so much, Sister Shekhem-t. I have dropped her cell number into the chat, so you can check there. I've also dropped the list into the chat, and you can always reach out to me by WhatsApp for this presentation, so I can share that with you. So thank you again so much, Sister Shekhem-t, for this information. Remember, you can visit her YouTube page. Just probably type in Living a Centered Life on YouTube to be able to find her. And I've also dropped her cell number. Her presentation will have her contact number. So when you text me for that, I will share that with you. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. We are going to have another presentation at 3 p.m. So everyone gets to get a break, and then you can return here at 3 p.m. So thank you very much. This presentation is going to be uploaded to the Wellness Experience Jamaica page. And again, we ask that if you're not following us already, follow us on Wellness Experience Jamaica, because we are going to have updates. There are going to be some courses that Sister Shekhem-t will be doing, and you want to be first in line to take part in those. So again, a big thank you from Wellness Experience Jamaica, Sister Shekhem-t, for agreeing to do this presentation, which I think was a very valuable presentation and a great addition to the arsenal that we are trying to get everyone here to build so that they can navigate the current storms effortlessly and with ease. Thank you so much.
All right. Peace and blessings,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.